the Chi-Town experience on the flight. Let me go tune in to Keek on the mic. He gon' make sure we get our news and highlights. When you get on YouTube, you better hit the like.
The Chicago Bears are reportedly keeping a keen eye on this rising draft prospect. Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. As always, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Bears fans, before I go any further with today's episode of Keek on the Mic, I want to once again give you guys the opportunity to earn some extra income. So as always, if you guys are interested in joining my team and learning more about the opportunity to earn extra money with me, make sure you comment interested. And once again, I'll share my information with you and we can hop on a call to talk about this opportunity to earn some extra income. We already have a couple of Bears fans that are joining my team that are starting to make some extra money. So tap in with me and we can get you hopefully on my team very, very soon. So here we go. We are another day closer to the 2025 NFL draft, and we have been having a whole lot of conversations on who we believe Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears will draft with the number 10 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. And we have talked about the possibility of staying put and just taking the best player available, rather that's Tyler Warren or Ashton Jeanty or Will Campbell, or even trading back for a guy like Omarion Hampton, maybe a guy like Kenneth Grant, maybe Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. And we've even had a little bit of scenarios of maybe possibly trading up if the right player drops, maybe like a player like Abdul Carter, edge rusher out of Penn State. But now, according to some reports, and this is from Benjamin Albright, a really tapped in NFL reporter, he was saying that the Bears have a very keen eye on this rising draft prospect. And once again, Ryan Poles has a track record of doing the unexpected. Back in 2023 in the first round, no one really expected the Bears to take right tackle out of Tennessee and Darnell Wright. That was definitely a risk. And now Darnell Wright has turned into a very, very good player for the Chicago Bears on this offensive line. And once again, that means, Ryan Poles is willing to take risk. And he's willing to go against what other people actually believe that the Chicago Bears will actually do. And now people are wondering if maybe Ryan Poles has another surprise in store with the number 10 overall pick in this year's NFL draft. And once again, according to Benjamin Albright of the KOA Colorado, and once again, he's one of the most plugged in insiders out there, he actually dropped a mini bombshell yesterday on X, talking about the Bears have significant interest in Ohio State running back Trevion Henderson. He said Henderson is someone the Bears have kept a keen eye on too, which is really interesting. We've talked about many different running back options for the Chicago Bears. There's a lot of Bears fans hoping, really including myself, that Ashton Jeanty out of Boise State drops to number 10, which I feel like if Jeanty does drop to number 10, that's going to be the obvious pick, or at least one of the obvious picks for the Chicago Bears on draft night. We have talked about maybe taking Omarion Hampton at 10 or trading back from Omarion Hampton. We have talked about Quinshon Judkins in round 2. We talked a little bit about Cam Skattebo in round 2. The running back class in this year's NFL draft is very, very deep. And we've also had some conversations about Trevion Henderson as well. And once again, when we look at some back history, and when we're talking about Ben Johnson's time with the Detroit Lions, remember the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, with the 12th overall pick. And when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs and when you look at Trevion Henderson, it makes a whole lot of sense on why the Chicago Bears could have some high interest in Henderson. You look at Jahmyr Gibbs, he turned into a star with the Detroit Lions. He's known for his explosive speed and agility, and that's exact same thing that Trevion Henderson showed at Ohio State in 2024. The 5'10", 208-pound running back runs a 4.43 40. In 2024, had over 1,000 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns, also had 26 receptions for 281 yards. Also showcasing that explosive speed and agility. And the one thing that he really actually has over a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs is that he's actually a better pass protector as well. So he is definitely a 3-down running back. that Ben Johnson is looking to add to the Chicago Bears offense. Truthfully, when I look at Trevion Henderson, I absolutely love the guy. I absolutely love him as a prospect. I think he's going to be a very good player in the National Football League. I think he would be a perfect fit for Ben Johnson here in Chicago with this offense with the Bears. I'm not sure if he is worth the number 10 overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. And once again, we know that Ryan Poles has a history of taking a risk. If he feels like this player is worth it, I have no doubt in my mind that Ryan Poles would pull the trigger on a guy like Trevion Henderson, even with the number 10 overall pick. Personally, as a Bears fan, I love him as a player. I would be more happy if we traded back and landed some draft capital, maybe in round 2, maybe in round 3, maybe in next year's NFL draft as well, and then took a player like Trevion Henderson. I'm not sure how I would personally feel at picking him at number 10 overall, especially when there is other players that we could possibly take. Let's say Tyler Warren drops and they opt to go Trevion Henderson. How would that make you guys feel, Bears fans? Personally, I've always had this idea that if the right player falls to us, rather that's Will Campbell, rather that's Tyler Warren, rather that's Ashton Jeanty, you take those players over anyone that you may like a little bit better, just because those players are probably going to be higher on their draft board compared to a guy like Trevion Henderson. Once again, we can also look at other running back options as well. I don't think Trevion Henderson's better than guys like Ashton Jeanty. I don't think he's better than Omarion Hampton. That is just my personal opinion. But once again, Trevion Henderson may be a better fit for Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears offense, just because of what he offers as a running back. Once again, he's a 3-down running back. He can pass protect. He has that home run speed, really good speed and agility as well. And he's a really good pass protector as well. And out of the backfield, really good receiving back as well. And I think that's why Ben Johnson and the Bears are going to keep a close eye on Trevion Henderson. But once again, when you look at a guy like Omarion Hampton, which is another fan favorite for the Chicago Bears, I feel like if they really want a running back and they can't land Ashton Jeanty, he would be the next up on my running back big board. You look at him, he's 6'1", 220 pounds, but he also runs a 4.4 40-yard dash. So he's a bigger running back than Trevion Henderson, but he's just as fast as Henderson, right? In 2024, had 1,660 rushing yards for 15 rushing touchdowns, had 38 receptions for 373 receiving yards, 3-down back, really good pass protector, sometimes struggles with his vision issues, maybe getting a little bit impatient behind the offensive line, which is totally correctable in the National Football League. And personally, why I'm starting to grow on Omarion Hampton, Bears fans, and what I want to share with you guys on today's episode of Keek on the Mic. And I want to give a huge shout out to my dad, because we had this conversation the other day and we have both agreed that Omarion Hampton could possibly be a Matt Forte 2.0. And I don't want you guys to attack me down below in the comment section, but when you look at Matt Forte's game and you look at Omarion Hampton's game, they are very similar. Matt Forte was 6'1", 221 pounds, and also ran a 4.46 40-yard dash. Once again, when you look at Omarion Hampton, 6'1", 220 pounds, ran a 4.46 40-yard dash. And when you look at their games, Matt Forte had explosive athleticism and ability to run through contact, explosive playmaker in both the run and passing game as well. And that is the exact skill set that Omarion Hampton showcased at North Carolina as well. And personally, when you look at Hampton compared to Matt Forte, Hampton could be actually a more explosive version of Matt Forte. And if that is the case, sign me up. Take him at number 10 overall. If you can trade back and get Omarion Hampton, I am totally on board. Matt Forte is probably one of my favorite Chicago Bears of all time. That's who I grew up watching, along with Devin Hester and Charles Tillman and Brian Urlacher or Lance Briggs. But Matt Forte is one of my favorite Bears of all time. So personally, I have no problem with the Chicago Bears taking a running back in round 1. I think pick number 10 would be a little bit high for Trevion Henderson, in my personal opinion. I think I'd be more okay with the Bears taking Omarion Hampton at number 10. If the Bears trade back into like the 20 range and they really like Trevion Henderson and Omarion Hampton is gone and maybe some other guys that they may really like is gone and Henderson is the best player on your board, then fine. That is totally fine. But at number 10 overall, I think that may be a little bit of a stretch for me. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it. Let me know down below in the comment section. Not saying that Henderson's not going to be a good player. I think he has all the potential in the world, and I think he would be the perfect fit for Ben Johnson. So it makes a whole lot of sense why the Bears are keeping a close eye on him. But at number 10 overall, I think I would be a little bit not, I want to say unhappy about the move, but just a little bit cautious of why they took him that high when they could possibly even get him in round 2. I think there's a possibility that he could be there in round 2 as well if they really like a guy like Trevion Henderson. So Bears fans, how do you feel about the news of the Bears keeping a close eye on Trevion Henderson and maybe being an option at number 10 overall for the Chicago Bears? Let me know down below in the comment section on how you are feeling. But other than that, Bears fans, make sure you guys continue to hit that subscribe button and the notification to catch all Bears content right here on the podcast. Make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms, and make sure you share this episode of Geek on the Mic with every single Bears fan that you know. The other than that, back for all new Bears podcasts right here on Geek on the Mic. Thanks, guys, and as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.